So, as we move forward in this conversation, we are stepping into part of Prachi's journey that many women quietly live but rarely talk about openly. This is the space where love meets ambition, where careers intersect with caregiving, where life throws unexpected turns, and where resilience is built not overnight but over years. So, what makes Prachi's story so powerful is not just what she achieved, but how she navigated the in between moments with honesty, humility, and heart. Welcome, Prachi. Welcome to We Connect Again. You met your future husband through someone from your high school, right?
I had just finished my PhD, and of course, my parents were eager for me to settle down. You know how Indian parents
Yeah,
are, right?
yeah.
Umesh Chacha and Asha Chachi even went ahead and put a matrimonial ad in the newspaper. I started meeting several people, and honestly, it was so nerve wracking.
Okay. So, long distance marriage is one of the toughest tests for any relationship. So, you were building careers, identities, and future, often in different places, both of you, right? So, what did that phase teach you about communication, patience, and emotional maturity?
Yeah, so again, being newlyweds and living apart was definitely challenging. We would have little arguments now and then, mostly because we missed each other. But then we made it a priority to see each other often and keep nurturing our relationship despite the miles between us. But we decided that, we wanted to focus on our short-term goal, which was for me to get my green card so I could,
Yeah.
move forward.
So you began your professional life in academia, right? And later made a significant pivot into corporate roles. So
Yes.
for many people, changing careers after years of training feels terrifying. So was that transition scary for you? And what made you take that leap?
Norma, I knew I wanted to make a change. I enjoyed teaching, but research part was just not for me. I remembered hearing about actuarial sciences back in graduate school, but I couldn't pursue it then because I didn't have a green card. Now I finally had the chance. So I decided to go for it and started studying for the exams needed to enter the field.
So do you remember your first day in non-academic role? What was going through your mind as you walked in that day?
It was a little intimidating at first, I will not lie. I felt like a student again on my first day of graduate school. But that nervousness didn't last very long. My manager and team were incredibly supportive, which made the transition so much easier. My biggest adjustment, getting used to sitting in a small cubicle all day.
This is pretty common actually, and not everybody can deal with it. You have to change your mindset.
Yeah, in corporate world, you can be very alone. If you don't
Yeah.
make the connections, it can be pretty lonely.
Yeah, yeah. So starting again at the entry level after already achieving so much requires immense humility. So, what helped keep your ego in check during that phase, and how did you stay motivated?
I reminded myself that this was part of my zigzag journey that I have been referring to, starting from ground up and working my way towards something bigger. Knowing where I wanted to go is what kept me motivated through those early days. I had a lot to learn and more exams to pass before I could officially earn my credentials. But, I was determined.
What is your advice for so many women here who come here in this country, new country, and they are changing careers like that?
What I would say, Minorma, is this country offers a lot of opportunities. If you're willing to take a chance and even fail at some, that's okay. This country has given us so many opportunities. I would say go try and find what you're good at, what you enjoy doing. And if it takes a couple of tries, don't be afraid. As long as you have a support system, you need a good support system.
And I think if you need to change your career, go for it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I have seen a lot of women, like, they are stuck in their past.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give them any life, actually. Right? We change places.
Right.
We change career.
Right.
And because there is so much ahead, you can find so many things to do.
Right.
My advice is just try new things.
Absolutely.
So that takes real courage, and it's something many women struggle with silently. And were there moments when self doubt crept in? And how did you talk yourself through those moments?
So, no, self doubt, definitely. Again, starting in a new role, there are always risks involved. But I knew what I thought I would be good at, right? And then again, I had a supporting spouse.
Yeah, that's kind of we ignore sometime, but this is very important to have a supporting spouse.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that made all the difference, where I was able to take the risks.
Yeah, yeah. Becoming a mother often redefines how women view success. So before motherhood, success may look one way, and after it can shift completely. How did becoming a mother change your definition of success and leadership?
So when we had our first daughter, Suchi, she became my absolute world. Balancing a growing career while taking actual exams was no joke. Most of my studying happened late at night or on the weekends. My husband was my biggest support system, taking care of our daughter Suchi and keeping her entertained so I could focus on my exams.
So, was there guilt, strength, or perhaps both coexisting at the same time?
Even then, I constantly felt guilty for not spending as much time with Suchi as I wanted. I mean, this
actually, that's so true. That is so true. Mothers always have that guilt in their mind, like, I wish they can get that time back and they can spend more time with their children, right?
Right. So she was a handful, and we often joke that she kept us on our toes 24/7. We honestly weren't sure if we could handle another child. But when my husband decided to get his executive MBA, we figured, well, if we are already this busy, why not add one more thing to the mix? So we decided to have our second child, Ritu.
Okay, so you took time off after your second child. Something many women fear will permanently derail their careers, right? So, how did re entering the workforce reshape your confidence and self belief?
So when I returned to work afterwards, I made another deliberate pivot. With two young kids at home, I knew I wouldn't have time to take exams anymore, but I still wanted to stay connected to my career. I took a role within the actuarial division, but in a more non traditional space, focusing on pulling data and doing analytics. It turned out to be a great opportunity. I learned SQL programming, and before long, I moved into a management role. So that was sort of, this pivot really helped accelerate my path into management roles.
Okay. So many women watching this feel they have lost time. So, what would you say to them today, women to women?
Those 2 years that I spent at home with my kids were priceless. That's time, as you mentioned, you can never get back. My biggest advice from that chapter of my life is spend as much time with your kids as your situation allows. But also don't lose touch with your professional network. Staying connected is what helped me re-enter the workforce smoothly and find a role that worked both for my family and my career goals.
I think we are moving towards the third chapter of her life, Prachi's life, which is kind of very difficult to talk, but we already discussed about it, and she is ready to talk about it. I don't know what kind of questions I can ask, but with her permission, I am ready to ask, and I'm ready to talk about few. points. So, losing a child is unimaginable, and we honor your openness in sharing this. So, if you are comfortable, how did that experience change you, not just as a person, but as a leader and as a decision maker?
So, yeah, it's tough. We lost Ritu when she was 17, a senior in high school, getting ready for college. I have learned not to sweat the small stuff anymore through that loss. After going through such a monumental loss, any other setback feel minor in comparison. For a long time, I stopped reading or watching news. Everything felt too heavy, too depressing. I stopped reading. It wasn't good for my mental health. For the first time in my life, I started having panic attacks and had to keep medication on hand because I never knew what would trigger one. I ended up in the ER because I couldn't breathe, and my husband thought he's going to lose his wife. Right, a month later, he lost his daughter. So it was pretty tough for us. Through it all, my focus remained on my older daughter. Making sure she was okay is what kept me grounded. In these early months, we would make trips to Austin where she was studying to meet Suchi every other week, trying to find some balance again. It was an incredibly difficult time, but the love and support of the family, my friends, neighbors truly carried us through. It's been 10 years now, and I've finally started doing things that bring joy again. I'm a much calmer, more centered person today.
We often talk about strength, but this is strength at the deepest human level. During times of grief, work can sometimes feel overwhelming, or it can become a place of healing. How was it for you? Did work help you heal, or was it something you had to slowly reconnect with?
Work was incredibly therapeutic for me. I went back just 2 weeks after the loss, not because I was fully ready, but because I needed something to structure my days and redirect my energy. Of course, I wasn't the most productive, but my coworkers and managers were amazing. They gave me space, understanding, and support. Some even shared their own experiences with loss, and that helped me feel less alone. I'm so grateful for my work family.
Thank you for sharing this with such honesty, Prachi. What helped you rebuild emotional balance during that phase of life?
So the emotional balance again came from a couple of different focuses, right? Focusing on work, mentoring, and teaching my team. That gave me one focus. Ensuring that Suchi was doing well in her undergrad school. That gave me focus. And then just sort of, getting up and going and doing something, not sitting still, that gave me focus. So had to find ways to connect with people, connect with my team to feel emotionally grounded.
Okay. So you strongly believe in teaching others and grooming your replacement, something not all leaders are comfortable with. So, where did this leadership philosophy come from?
So, along the way, I also learned that success isn't just about hard work, it's about relationship, mentorship, and helping others grow. Early in my career, I used to believe that being the only person who could do something made me indispensable. One of my mentors completely changed that perspective. She helped me realize that while this kind of expertise might help me in the short run, it actually limits your long term opportunities. From then on, I made it a point to share my knowledge freely, to teach others, mentor, and groom my replacement. That mindset not only helped my teams be successful, but also allowed me to rise to the senior VP level.
Was there a specific mentor or perhaps a defining moment when this belief truly crystallized for you?
Yeah, so this was, as I was mentioning, I was building relationships in my workplace, and one of my mentors, she is the one who told me this philosophy. And that really resonated with me. Where people say, if you are the only person, then you're most valuable. And she said, well, if you're the only person, guess what? Nobody else can do it. That means you can't do anything else either. You can't go on vacation. You can't take on new roles. So that really stuck home with me. That we need to be generous about what we learn and help the whole team grow. And this way, we'll all be successful.
That is really great, actually. And thanks for sharing this because I think many people need to listen this. Even after so many ups and downs, you managed to do all kind of stuff like for your team, for your work, for your family. It's really incredible. It's really a human strength in the highest level, I will say that. So, how does leadership look and feel to you today compared to when you first started your career?
Yeah. So, Manorma, leadership, I've learned, evolves over time. When I started out, leadership meant showing initiative and taking on new and challenging projects. In mid management, it became about building a strong, high performing teams, giving people room to take risks, and even rewarding failure to encourage innovation. Now, leadership to me is about collaboration, helping other leaders succeed and creating an environment where everyone can thrive.
That's really, really great. Yeah, with time, you have um, earned so much experience right now. It's easy for you to collaborate and help others.
Exactly.
So, if you could go back and speak to your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would say it's okay to take chances. It's okay to try different things. It's okay to fail because life is long. You have room to pivot, to change, uh, to find what truly excites you and what you're good at.
That's really a great advice for today's generation. I think everybody needs to listen this the whole story. Prachi's story is really, really awesome and really inspiring. So you have been deeply involved in community spaces, PTA, Girls Scouts, and workplace and neighborhood initiatives. So why has community always been such an important anchor in your life?
Yeah, outside of work, I always believed in giving back, a contributing member of the community. Paying it forward is something I take to heart. I think about all the people before me who built organizations like the PTA, the Girl Scouts, and creating communities that my daughter and I could benefit from. I wanted to do the same, to stay connected with my daughters while working full time and to support the community that had supported us. Through those activities, my daughters formed lasting friendships, and so did I. With our extended family back in India, it truly took a village to raise my kids, and my community became that village.
Nice. Do you feel that staying connected to community keeps you grounded even while holding senior leadership roles?
Yes, it does, right? I mean, community, as I said, is our village, is our environment.
Yeah.
So now you're part of my new community. So definitely being part of the community has kept me grounded.
As we come to the close of this conversation, one thing becomes very clear. Prachi's journey is not just a story of professional success, it's a story of courage through change, grace through loss, and leadership rooted in humanity. Her life reminds us that success isn't defined by titles alone, but by the lives we touch, the wisdom we share, and the resilience we build along the way. To every woman listening today, whether you are starting over, stepping back, or stepping up, know this. Your journey does not have to be perfect to be powerful. Your pause do not erase your progress, and your story just as it is matter. Prachi, thank you for sharing your achievements but your truth. Your journey doesn't just inspire, it gives permission for others to believe in their own.
Thank you, Manorma, for giving me this opportunity to be here to share my journey. I have appreciated everything you've done for our community, and I'm happy to be a small contributor in this big community here.
Thank you so much, Prachi. It's really nice to talk to you and know more about you. I hope your story will help and motivate others, and we'll do more. Actually, we'll do more good. I hope. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Yes, thank you
for
so
coming.
much.
Yeah.